Hey, you guys, are you okay with this? I don't think I'm okay with this. Let's see what this has to say. U.S. approves chicken made from cultivated cells, the nation's first lab-grown meat. For the first time, U.S. regulators on Wednesday approved the sale of chicken made from animal cells, allowing two California companies to offer lab-grown meat to the nation's restaurant tables and eventually supermarket shelves. So, if you're going to a restaurant, because this stuff is going to be cheaper, this is going to be cheaper. So, this is the kind of food that restaurants are going to be selling you. So, you better start asking questions before you just eat whatever's put in front of you. The Agriculture Department gave the green light to Upside Foods and Good Meat firms that have been racing to be the first in the U.S. to sell meat that doesn't come from slaughtered animals. What's now being referred to as cell-cultivated or cultured meat as it emerges from the laboratory and arrives on dinner plates. Don't get me wrong. I'm not good with the way the animals are slaughtered and raised and terminated and the way they live. I'm not good with it. And I don't support, inhumanely doing these things. If we could all get back to just raising our own meat and cultivating things ourselves, then we wouldn't have to rely on supermarkets to provide us with food. Now, the thing that really gets me is you're saying, well, it's still from, cells of animals. Okay, that's all fine and good, but I guarantee you, once this stuff starts coming out, you're not just going to see one or two ingredients in this meat. There's going to be a lot of different things that they're going to put inside of this, as they do with all fake meats. And that's the part. The move launches a new era of meat production aimed at eliminating harm to animals and drastically reducing the environmental impacts of grazing, growing feed for animals, and animal waste. Instead of all of that land and all of that water that's used to feed all of these animals that are slaughtered, we can do it in a different way. But see, the thing is they try to tell us that there's not a lot of land, but if you drive across the United States, there's a lot of land. But they're not trying to have people live in these rural areas. They're trying to have people all cluttered up together in the cities, in these high-rise buildings, so that they can track you and trace your every move and be in charge of providing you with every single necessity that you need to survive. They want you dependent upon them. So it's not like there's a land shortage. There's lots of land. Okay? This is an agenda. The companies received approvals for federal inspections required to sell meat and poultry in the U.S. The action came months after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration deemed that products from both companies are safe to eat. Yeah, USDA. A manufacturing company called Joyn Biologics, which works with Good Meat, was also cleared to make the products. Cultivated meat is grown, and let me add that I'm sure these people are all working with each other. They all have a hand in somebody's pocket. Cultivated meat is grown in steel tanks using cells that come from a living animal, a fertilized egg, or a special bank of stored cells. In Upside's case, it comes out in large sheets that are then formed into shapes like chicken cutlets and sausages. Good Meat, which already sells cultivated meat in Singapore, the first country to allow it, figures, turns masses of chicken cells into cutlets, nuggets, shredded meat, and sautés. So that's another thing that I was like to say. If you're gonna buy meat from these places, buy meat on the bone. Buy meat on the bone. Okay? At least you know there's a bone in there. It was once on an animal. But don't look for this noble meat in the U.S. grocery stores anytime soon. cultivated chicken is much more expensive than meat from whole farmed birds and cannot yet be produced on the scale of traditional meat. Okay, so that's an upside. That is good. See, that they want to be able to mass produce this stuff, and they want to be able to get it to the point where it's going to be so cheap and efficient and affordable to make this meat and get this out to. This is the kind of stuff we call Soylent Green.